Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by my co host in the new year in 2025, Mr. Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Jeff, I'm wonderful. It's been a few weeks because of the holidays and because of schedules and stuff like that. But everything is good. I'm glad you made it out of the holidays alive. Whether you make it out of this episode alive is another question. But
Yeah, let me tell you something. We are starting, this is our first episode, by the way, of 2025. Like Sean said, we've been away for a little bit. The holidays is a busy time, like for family, for comics. We're constantly working. This is a really from Thanksgiving up to New Year's, it is almost like nonstop. So we really kind of maybe worked in one, maybe two episodes during that time. And we had to take a couple of week break. But we are back in 2025 and we are back with a banger. Okay. If anyone is on the internet or social media, you know or heard of our next guest or our first guest of the new year. And by the way, Sean, do you realize this is now 5 years we've been doing this show?
yeah, this might be the last one too.
Shut up, you. Hold on a second. We didn't introduce you yet. It's a big surprise. You're not on yet. Stop it. Okay. We can't do anything with this dude. All right.
I mean, 5 years was a good run. It was a good run. 5 years was a good run.
It's been a good run. And now as we're starting as we start our sixth year now, as we start the beginning of the sixth year, like I said, we are starting this year with a banger. This guy is a comic. He is an actor. He is a podcaster. I mean, he is all over the place. Really, 2024 was very good for this dude. I'm also proud to call him my friend. He is my friend. I really do like him. We're giving it up for Mario Bosco. How are you, Mario?
Great, I'm great. Congratulations on your sixth year of the podcast. It's a great gift, and to be doing it for 6 years is amazing. Okay, because I've done one season and 10 episodes, and I'm ready to pull the hair out of my head.
Well, Mario, let me backpedal and just say number one, it's actually starting. We're starting. Just finished our fourth. We are going on to season 5. And Jeffrey, I'm so glad that you booked a nice Jewish boy as our first guest of 2025.
Well, this is what a lot of people don't know about Mario Bosco. Mario Bosco, for years, was in rabbinical school. He was studying to become a rabbi.
Yeah, but they didn't want people like me. I was bad boy.
Mario, is the name of your show called Growing Up Italian?
No, the Grown Up Italian is the show that I'm with, but my podcast is called the Mario Bosco Show.
And how'd you get the title for that?
New York Nico came up with that. New York Nico was like, I want to do a show that has to do with a mixed array of kind of comics, entertainment, music, who's not also just Italian. I want to keep it like that. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you said his name is New York what?
New York Nico.
New York Nico. And how did he get that name?
He got that name because he was all over New York City. He was just doing different kinds of videos. He started out as a commercial and music video director out of school, and then went to LA thinking he was going to make it big like all of us thought. And he ended up not making it big and came back to New York, came back home, and started his documentary in New York City, Coney Island, January 1st for the, what do they call that, the Polo Club, and just documenting all of New York City. And he discovered me.
Mario, did you know that you were doing this podcast this evening?
Yes.
So did you purposely find the most noisiest place in New York City to actually go and do it?
I'm sorry. I'm in the cafe. I left my house early to go make some videos at my friend's restaurant. And I was like, oh, let me go to the cafe. Nobody's ever here. But unfortunately, that tonight there was a person in the room. Should I try to go outside?
Well, if there's a little quieter place, I mean, it's slightly distracting that you have some guy speaking in some type of Arabic or Sanskrit.
Let me see. Is this
Yeah.
better?
No, it's actually worse.
It is?
Yes, it's actually worse. Now we can't see you. See, the thing is, you got to get away from where the guy is talking. What is this? Just one guy in this whole place?
Yeah, there's people in it. It's a cafe.
And why would you just?
It's not that I decided, Jeff. It's just I left my house and then there was no place else to go. I wasn't going in the city and I walked in here thinking it would be quiet. And unfortunately, there's somebody here having coffee and talking.
Hey
Tell him
Mario,
to shut up.
where are you from? Are you from Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, New York.
What part?
Midwood.
Oh, Midwood. Okay, so I'm a little familiar with like the Guinea areas of like Sheepshead Bay and thing and that kind of area.
Oh, well,
Little Bay Ridge. Well, not anymore, but
the Italian area would be 18th Avenue, 20th Avenue, Bay Parkway. But unfortunately, it's pretty much all mixed now.
Mary, we're gonna try and get through this. Um, did you start out to become a comic or an actor first?
Actor. I started being an actor first, and while being an actor, roles started diminishing for me because, I was born with a rare disease called panhypopituitarism.
Can you tell us a little bit before you go on? Then tell us a little bit what that is, in case people aren't sure what that is and what it affects.
We're all born with a pituitary gland. Pretty
That's right.
much it's up here. I thought it was here, but it's up here somewhere in our
I think you're
brain.
thinking here is the thyroid.
Yeah, thyroid. My thyroid is gone. It's burned. So the pituitary gland is what makes you go through puberty. It makes you get older. It makes you live life. And mine got burned at birth.
wow.
Okay, so what was some of the challenges that you had with this?
A lot of hospitalizations, a lot of doctor visits, a lot of medical appointments, a lot of convulsions. I used to get a convulsion, many convulsions, and then I'd have to be rushed to the hospital, put a line in, do blood work, and try to bring me back to realization of life, and thank God that I haven't had one in about 15 years. I haven't once, yeah, but they really suck. Let me see if I can sit back here. They really suck. I apologize, guys. They, convulsions hurt. First one I got was as a baby. That's when they discovered my problem because I wasn't eating or drinking or breast milk. I was born a normal baby, 8 pounds and change. Full-length baby, regular time, but when my mother's water broke, she asked the doctor, she had the chills, and the doctor gave her an aspirin, and the aspirin went down the fallopian tube, whatever you call it, and it burned my pituitary. Yeah, it burned my thyroid, it burned my pituitary gland, it burned everything.
So right now, like you said, for the last 15 years, everything is stabilized and you're able to live basically a normal life.
Pretty much, I'm on medication for the rest of my life. I deal with what God gives me. I've had a couple of blackouts where I've blacked out and I have to be rushed to the hospital. And what happens is what happens is your body has X amount of glucose in the sugar. And either sometimes it goes all the way up and you get a diabetic coma, or it goes backwards and you black out. And I have low blood sugar, so I need sugar. So if I ever collapse, you tell them, give me sugar. And they have to put an IV in, and they have to give you this basically a sugary, watery content, like a distilled water.
So you grew up with this, and when did you find out you had the kind of like the entertainment bug in you, and you went into acting?
1986, a TV show was being filmed in my neighborhood called The Cosby Show. I was 14 years old and walking the neighborhood.
I could have sworn like you were on Small Wonder.
No. So she had like milkshake all over her, and I go, "What happened to you?" She's like, "Well, I bumped into Lisa Bonet on the show, and I had milkshake." So I normally would have showed up that day, but I went the next week and they were not there. I went the second week, they weren't there, but the third week I got to meet Bill Cosby. He was a true gentleman to me. Toured me the whole house of the Huxtables, the whole sound stage, and I don't know if he said come back again or you're welcome to come back or you could come whenever you want, but I was there every Wednesday, every week, clockwork.
If you know Mario Bosco is the most persistent guy you're ever going to meet.
100%, you know that. And it was a week later, and I asked him for help getting a career started. And got my SAG card in 1989. And
For what? Doing what?
I did a movie called Dominic and Eugene.
And then you kind of caught a
I
break in
remember that.
'91 when you did The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and James Woods.
Yeah, 1990. We filmed The Godfather 3 in May. We did Godfather 3 in May because I remember that day they announced that Jim Henson and Sammy Davis Jr. had both passed away.
You were in Godfather 3?
I was an altar boy when they killed Joey Zaza.
That's a great scene.
And then July of 1990, we started The Hard Way with John Badham as the director, Michael J. Fox, James Woods. And I love it. I think it's the best. I could never. If somebody said to me, go get a regular 9 to 5 job, live a 9 to 5 life, do this regular, I can't. You might as well just let me out. This is what I am.
You know what? The first time I ever saw it, I don't know, Sean, you're a big fan of movies, and I know you love Selma Hayek. Okay,
Mhm.
Who doesn't? Mario Bosco was in. Did you ever see the movie 54?
No. Oh, yeah. About Studio 54. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yes, it's a 54 is about Studio
Yeah.
54. And Mario Bosco is the guy who's taken the dancing class and he tries to do a split like Ryan Felipe and he hurts his balls.
I did not know that. I will have to go back and watch that. I'll put that on my list after The Irishman.
Now, Sean,
'Cause I
let
haven't
me ask
watched
you,
that yet.
Sean, what? I want it's a great movie. Sean, I'm going to play a little game here with you. What do you think
Sure.
the name of Mario's character was
In what?
in 54?
It's going to have to be a Tony something because it's going to be Italian.
It's Italian, but it's not Tony. Now you got to remember, it's Mario Bosco. So what do you think
Is his character's name Mario Bosco?
The character's name is Mario, correct?
Why don't you show us how you do your splits?
I'm not gonna do that, Mario. You do it.
All right. Ow!
Okay.
Because
Yeah, that was a reach.
His character.
That was a reach.
But
That was a reach.
But you know what's funny, Mario, is your haircut in it. It looks like someone took a soup bowl and put it on your head and then cut around it. You had like this really funny bowl cut.
They send me to Astro Cuts downtown, and they told me that I had to go there for my haircut. They made me go there and just physically chop, and they made me do it there.
What did you think of Selma Hayek? How did she look in person?
She was good, but I had never known Selma as a movie star, and she told me we were during a break, and she sat with us, and I said, "Oh, what were you in?" And she says, like, I'm thinking I'm being shot on the set, And she goes,
Why would you wait? Hold on a second. Why would you think you're the big shot on the set? Like Ryan Felipe already had a career. Okay, it was his, he was the star of the movie. There's a lot of other people, and Mike Myers was in it, but you're the big shot. Where do you get the nerve?
I didn't say Mike Myers. I didn't say Nave Campbell, and I didn't say Ryan Felipe. Selma Hayek. I had never heard of her, and she was in another movie right before it. And I said, "Who did you play?" And she goes, "I was the star." I was like, "Okay."
Well, let me ask you a question. Now, she's pretty tall, and you're kind of short. How's she smell down there?
She smelled good, very good
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
First of all, she's not that tall, by the way. She's in her
really?
5 feet. She was in her 5 feet, like low fives, and I'm
Okay.
4'11". So it's only a couple inches different.
Now, are you lying about the 4'11"? Because a lot of people your height like to lie. Are you really 4'10"?
No, 4'11".
All right.
You said 4'10". No,
Take your
4'11".
take your word for it.
That 1 extra inch, Mario.
I'll
You.
get 1 extra inch.
1 extra inch, and you really, like, for a guy who has really overcome, I think, a lot. Got yourself into a bunch of movies. If you look at his IMDb, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but you've also kind of worked your way into getting on a lot of late night shows, and you have kind of like a little bit of rapport with Jimmy Kimmel. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I did a movie with Denzel Washington and John Travolta called The Taking of Pelham. I worked on it.
Oh, Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. It's a remake. Great movie.
And I worked on it the whole movie, and it was cool. And I was in LA, and I was doing another movie called At the Sinatra Club. And this guy promised me 4 scenes. Now, you know me, Jeff. If you tell me, Mario, you're doing 15 minutes, you're doing 10 minutes, I'm doing my 10 minutes. Unless there's a quick change in the lineup at the end, and they're like, hey, man, listen, do 8, don't do 10 because we got somebody else, and we're running late. No problem.
Did you have to sit on his lap?
No, I don't send nobody's lineup.
All right.
So I did the movie. The guy promised me 4 scenes, and instead he gives me one, and he's like, "If you want to be an extra, but I can't pay you." And I said, "Nope, I'm getting on Jimmy Kimmel." So I go to Hollywood Boulevard because I was
That's a huge leap.
That's a huge leap.
Right.
Huge leap from Encino doing this thing to getting on Jimmy Kimmel. That's a huge
But how
leap.
did you get booked on Jimmy Kimmel? How did he know about it?
I didn't know him. I didn't get booked, so I show up and I got a ticket. I went to go see the
You were just going to watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I went there. So what happened is the first time me and my friend Justine Michelli and her husband, we go see the Hannibal Lecter movie at Grumman's Chinese. But my head was across the street at Jimmy Kimmel's studio. So I had a homemade press pack ready, and I get there and I get a ticket and I get in and I meet Uncle Frank, rest in peace, his uncle, and Don Barry. But I don't meet Jimmy. Okay. I don't get to give my press pack. The next day I come back and they tell me, sorry, we cannot give you another ticket because you were here already. And normally I would have said, listen to me, you know what? But I kept it clean. I kept it decent. I said, I want to get on the show. I'm not going to zip. I'm going to zip on my mouth, and I'm not going to cause problems. That night, I was leaving to get to the bus to go to Santa Monica, and Jimmy's Uncle Frank was doing a video on Highland Boulevard taking flags off of cars for the Lakers. And because the Lakers were ready to win the championship. And so Uncle Frank comes up to me and goes, Mario, my Brooklyn friend. He had only met me once. And he gives me a big hug and he embraces me. I love you. I love you. So this girl comes over and takes a picture. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was on NYPD Blue. I was known on the show. But 9 years later, can't be. So he says, that's my daughter, Mickey. Wait a minute. You're the uncle. This is a whole family work here? The hell's going on here? My family can't sit down for a meal, right, Sean? Yeah, and your family wants to kill each other after breaking the bread, nevertheless, working every day. So Mickey says, "Don't worry, I got you. I'll get you on the list to see the show." So Jimmy comes out and does the ready for the monologue. He does his monologue, and after he's done the monologue, he opens it up to the who's from where, who, what, when, and where. So me, I'm raising my hand like crazy, and he finally goes, "Yeah, you back there." I said, "Jimmy, I'm from Brooklyn, just like you, Jimmy. Brooklyn, New York, Italian." He goes, "Great, great, thank you." He goes, starts laughing at we're both talking. I'm telling him what I know. I go, "Let me talk to Denzel. We can take it a pelham 1, 2, 3 to you. Let me see him. Let me talk to him." Because he was blowing
Wait, is
cigar
this on the
smoke.
air?
So no, it was in the audience. So now Denzel comes out, and Denzel talks to Jimmy about the Lakers. How'd you become a Lakers fan from being a Knicks fan? And it's like, "Oh, Robert Thompson got me tickets when I moved out here, and now I'm a Lakers." He goes, "Mario knows." And I'm going, "Okay, who's Mario?" He's like, and he goes, "Mario knows." I go, and he goes, and he's going like this to me. He's going like this to me, and I'm going, "No, I'm not dressed." And they flip the camera on me, and I'm going, "I'm not dressed for TV. I'm not dressed." And then I see this guy seated on the steps, and he waves his microphone to me. He's like, "What do you want to do?" And you know what I said to myself? Opportunities come, and you gotta take them by the storm. I grabbed that microphone, I went down, and I made television history, and I got on for a beautiful segment with Denzel.
What do you think about that, Sean?
Listen, you know what? I gotta give him credit. You know why? Because a lot of people don't have balls to do stuff like that. But I'll tell you, I'll give you a funny story, Jeff, and you'll understand. You're a comic, and Mario, you're a comic as well. So I was
Do you have a
probably
microphone, Sean?
I'm right here. Why?
Okay, because you're a little low. It'd
Oh,
be nice to
I'm
speak.
low. Maybe it's the fucking wind tunnel that Mario's behind. Anyway, so I was like 3 months into comedy, and I decided to email Jim Norton and just say, "Hey, you're doing a book signing in Ridgewood. How about you let a new comic do 5 minutes before your book signing?" Did I ever tell you the story?
No, and what's funny about it is like we are doing this 5 years. I know you off of. I've never heard this story.
Okay, so I just
These
randomly
stories,
emailed
Mario.
Jim Norton. I just
His
randomly
embarrassing
emailed
stories
him
are
right out
so
of the
funny.
blue. So I'm going to the gym, and as I'm walking into the gym, my phone rings, and it's my friend, and he goes, "Are you on the way?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Come on, dude, are you on the way?" I'm in the car. I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" He goes, "To the book signing. Norton talked about it on the radio this morning." And I go, "Dude, don't fuck with me because I'm an hour away and this thing starts in like an hour and 5 minutes." He goes, "Get in the car now." So I put the replay on, and sure enough, Norton says, "Yeah, I'm doing my book signing. Comic randomly emailed me. He said he's new. He wants to do a few minutes. Let's see how that works out." I said, "Fuck it. Why not do it?" I get up there, and Club Soda Kenny is working with Opie and Anthony
Yeah,
at
of
the time.
course.
And I introduce myself, and he goes, "Okay, do your act." So again, I'm 3 months in. What do I have? 5, 10 minutes, maybe. I do my jokes, and he goes, "Don't let Mr. Norton be disappointed." So everybody, bring everybody in, and they finally announce, "Hey, we have a new comic. Is going to do a few minutes." They don't even have a microphone. It was one of those old, like, the ones that they do at press conferences where it has a little bass, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. It's a little
I
bar.
had to hold the bass like this while I'm doing my act. And the first couple jokes, go okay. And then I get one of the Opie and Anthony assholes, and the joke bombs, and they have their phone out, and they start doing the car crash. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done." So then I tapped out. Whatever they gave me some applause. Whatever. After the book signing, I see Kenny, and he brings me over. He goes, "Mr. Norton, this is the guy who did the stand up before you." And Jimmy goes, "What are you, a fucking moron trying to do this?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Think about it." I said, "What if Carlin came out 20 years ago when you first started? Wouldn't you take a chance like that?" And he goes, "No, I'm not fucking stupid." But he shook my hand. He said, "You got more balls than I ever would have." Wrote me a nice little thing in the book, took a picture, and that was the last time I ever got to work with Jim Norton.
That is
That's it? And you haven't seen him since?
No, because our careers are on the same trajectory. You know what I mean?
Well, Mario, didn't you just do Sam and Jim?
I just did Sam and Jim in the morning hour. I did it. When did I do it? I think I did it early December, end of November. I did because I released a record, a Christmas song, and I was in the MTA. I was in the MTA train stations on the live board, so they brought me in. I didn't get to meet Jim because he didn't show up to work that day.
Who filled in from?
You know what I say? Some woman did, and then they gave me, pretty much I filled in because they gave me the whole show. I was on for the whole hour, whatever the whole time, and was there. But again, it's his loss because I would have, this Bacala would have been there. He would have gotten to meet me. I would have gotten to meet him, you know. Listen, let me tell you one thing I don't like, and I'll tell you short. You started out and you took a chance of 3 months, and I
Right.
say congratulations. That was a great thing you did because that's something I would do. And when somebody tells you, "Oh hell, I gotta ask the headliner if you could do a guest spot," to me, I want to say to that headliner, you, my friend, started out with the same way I started out. Just remember, you might be a headliner today, but you were where I was at that time. Remember that. Jim Norton was in your position at that time in your career. You understand? So when they say headliner doesn't want to guest spot, oh, now all of a sudden he's a big shot. You're a headliner. So if you put somebody on for 5 minutes, is it going to break or make the show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that.
One thing that's for sure though is that Jeff will never be a headliner.
No, but I'm glad you kind of said that to Sean because Sean needs to be humbled a little bit, Mario. And I think that kind of like taught him a little something, and he needs it.
It's not about to me, it's for every headliner out there. You know, I give you like headliners today. I asked the headliner recently. I go, hey, can I open? Well, I have to ask the club. I go, you get in the door? He goes, yes. So you don't have to ask nobody. You're getting the door. You don't ask nobody. Okay, what I'm saying? If you want to show the club respect and say, hey, I'm bringing in a guest spot, that's up to you. But if you're helping me, if you're giving me an opportunity, and 5 minutes doesn't make or break nobody. Nobody's going to go to Hollywood for 5 minute sets. Nobody's going to get a movie role for 5 minute sets. Get it?
Mario, I remember you when you used to do like the Sheba Mason shows on a Saturday night, and how did you go from that to kind of like really blowing up to the way you have in the past couple of years?
You know, it's constantly working. Like people say to me, and my sister would be one. She'll be like, "Oh, you're going to do another free show? Oh, you're going to go do guest spots for free?" Yes, because I'm going to work my material so that when an opportunity comes, like I just played, I opened for Mike Marino at the Displane Theater. I rocked it. I crushed it. So now I'm giving them a perfect audience. I'm giving them a perfect show with a perfect appearance. You know what I'm saying?
You got to
You
say
got to
is you're
keep
giving
working
them
on it. Listen,
a good show, right?
Jeff was great enough to. I just did my first hour special a couple months ago, and Jeff was good enough to give me time at his club, and he was the one who opened for me and made sure that he got the crowd going great, and opening acts are very important, Mario. So I'm glad you and Jeff, are very good at what you do for the headliner. You know what I mean?
We are. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm just coming into my own a little bit. I haven't.
Well, listen, you've gotten better, Jeff. You have gotten better.
Thank you.
They usually say you hit your sweet spot around 22 years. So
I think that, as a headliner, you need to give it, your openers need to give you, your host, your whoever it is, it's going to be at least 15 minutes. Your headliners, your feature acts, they have to make your headliner sound good. If your host sucks,
true.
your show sucks.
Host is the most important part. Host is the most important. 100%.
I'm the perfect host because I watch the time. I watch the clock. I watch what's going on, and I know hosts. They walk away. They're in the other room. They're getting a drink. Focus on the show because you're gonna destroy the show that way.
So, Sean, you should be taking notes right now.
Well,
And
and Mario too, you're also getting a lot of cardio in too because you got to keep putting the mic stand up and down and up and down and up and down when you're hosting.
I don't get any cardio. You drop it down, you're screwing it for somebody else. I'm not your babe. I'm not your bitch. I'm not picking up your mic stand up. Let me tell you something right now, and I tell you this from the heart, okay? If I'm gonna take the position of host, let's say Jeff says to me, "You're gonna host." My job is to watch your clock, and I have to also watch who's in front of you because if the person that's supposed to do 10 minutes is the room and people are getting up and they're walking out of the room or they're chit chatting, that means I have to light you. Sorry, we're friends. I love you, but I gotta light you. I gotta get you off because you're dragging my show down. Because although it's Jeff's club and Jeff's show, my responsibility is my show because I want to show. I'm the host, so
That's
now I have to light you and get you off and get the next person on and save the show and hope the next person has the opportunity to put on that's good. And one thing I would explain, a lot of clubs, they don't care who they put on just to make the time go. But you gotta watch. If the guy does vulgar or the guy is too high strung, let's take Steve Marshall. I love Steve Marshall. But Steve Marshall is a very high strung comic. You can't put a guy that's gonna go up there that's a woman that's gonna do church jokes because it's not gonna work. Gino Biscotti.
Mario, what if the comic is like a 6'4", used to weigh 400 pounds, got himself down to 250, arrogant, smug Irishman, partly Italian. What if that was the comic? How do you handle a guy like that?
Listen, you know by yourself you need to handle the show. And if the guy sucks and the guy's killing my show, guess what, buddy? I love you. You want to punch me out after? You want to hit me? I could be a punching bag, but you're still gonna get a like. And if you don't, I like you.
You're doing the right thing. No, you are 100% correct, Mario, when it comes to this, because the host is the most important thing. You got to steer the ship. You know, it sucks too. Like when you have a great comic on stage, right? You can have a good feature or whatever. They're doing a 10-minute spot and they're killing and you still got to pull them off. And that kind of sucks too. Then you're bringing up another comic and maybe they sucked and you're like, oh shit, I could have given the other guy 2 more minutes because he was killing. You know, it's even worse though. With the worst comics though that are out there, Mario, are the ones that just they write these jokes they think are so original, you know, and all they are these they're joke book jokes. You know what I mean? They're joke book, and they don't own it, and they don't own the fact about their real age. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of things that they just. You know, stop using the headshots from 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like you got to live in the now, right, Mario? Exactly.
Now, Mario,
you get this.
Mario does know.
Listen, I've been in this business, show business, for 39 years. I'll be 52 next week. Let me tell you one thing. If you don't control your career, I have people that beg me all the time to get them shows. I personally don't. I'm not gonna say that I'm the toppest. I'm the best. I'm gonna take the position over anybody. No, but if you're gonna go up there and do profanity, or you're gonna use profanity, and you're gonna use it like and now you come up now, the guy people are getting disgusted that he's talking about poop and profanity and doing.
No, that you don't do that. You don't talk about, no. It's called working blue, and comics shouldn't do that. And right, I agree with you 100% here, Mary.
Don't know what a comic does until they get up there. Like me, I tell them straight out, I do self-deprecation. I talk about myself. I don't talk about presidents. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about it.
You don't talk about your mother or anything, right?
I talk about my mother, but my mother's dead, but she's okay. She knows I'm good. I'm a good boy. But the point is that
people don't appreciate their mother. I understand.
But you know, Sean, you want to give your crowd the perfect show that they deserve. But if you get somebody that goes up there and Sean's next to him, right before Sean, guy goes up there and talks about disgusting thing, and people are reading. I learned this a long time ago. When it's in a place with food, keep it coherent, keep it smart. Don't talk about dirty food. I don't want to hear about toilets. I don't want to hear about potty training. I don't want to hear about diapers. I don't want to hear because I'll just get up and I'll walk right out. And that's the way I feel.
I agree too, Mary. You know what I hate too? When you're doing these comedy shows, you know, you're gonna have like a lot of couples that are in the crowd or people who are dating. You know what I hate when a comic gets up there and like he has to do the typical jokes about my wife and he does this really horrible like impression of the wife, you know, when it's
like the voice.
Hey, now, this is what I want you to do. Yeah. That over the top. Oh, it's hard. Just do the material. You don't have to do impressions.
Yeah, just do the joke. People don't listen. People don't want voices. They don't want you to vary the voice. They don't want entertainment. What they want is they just want you to go out there, talk monotone. If you try and be too cool for the room, that's what comedy is. That's real comedy. But man, I want to switch gears here for a second. And there's a couple things before we have to let you go.
Because I have people waiting for me. So
yeah, you're taking up a booth and you ordered a water. There was a couple of controversies with you. One, what's the thing with the Sopranos? Were you on the Sopranos? Were you not on the Sopranos? Because there's a lot of buzz online about this with you. Can you clear that up?
I got hired to be AJ Soprano's stand-in. And then after AJ grew up, I was Bobby Bacala's stand-in.
Well, you guys look a lot alike.
One day, AJ, they were doing a scene, and Vincent Pastore and Michael Imperioli, they needed to do some Italian stuff. And then James Gandolfini came up. James Gandolfini would come up to me and go, "Hey, how do you say zucchero, sugar?" I go, zucchero, si chiamalo zucchero. And I would do different wording for him just so that it sounded right, so he'd be on track. The best memory.
So you coached Gandolfini a little bit, right?
Yes. Yeah. The best memory for Gandolfini with me has to be when we would eat lunch during the pilot, and they broke us for lunch. And James was sitting behind my mother's left shoulder. And he took his tray, heard me and my mother speak Italian. He took his tray and sat on my mother's left, and he said he wanted to learn how to speak Italian for the show. And we helped him. So that's all.
Yeah, I can't see HBO getting like an Italian tutor. I can see getting Mario Bosco to kind of help him out here a little bit.
Mario, what part of Italy are you
show? Were you on?
Hold on, Mario. What part of Italy is your family from?
Sicily, Militello, provincia Catania, in Sicily.
Very nice. My family is Calabrese and Mofetese.
But Mario's family is from Sicily, Israel. Mario, did you get on the air? Were you on an episode?
Yes, I was. I didn't have lines, but I was in the background. I was behind the cage, the schoolyard gate, when AJ fights one of the kids, and I turn around and I go and I have this thing with him, and I go, "Come on, AJ, come on!" But they took my wording not to pay me. They took mine out and they digitally put something in, and they lowered my voice and they added one of the workers. Sometimes what they would do is they would dub somebody's voice not to pay them the principal role and give them a credit. So what they would do is they would take out the voice and they'd get a crew member or a digital computer would digitally do the wording, and it would sound like a computer.
So mostly you worked on the show as a stand-in, to AJ, and then got a little bit of background work. So, because that's one thing I want to kind of clear up. The other thing is,
all the time. On a Friday night, we work, and James Gandolfini would turn around and order a lobster truck, a surf and turf, and he'd give out surf and turf and lobster all night, and we ate all night long, lobster and shrimp and steak. He's very generous.
so you admit you had lobster.
Yes.
Okay. Also, tell us a little bit about what is growing up Italian, because I see you wearing the shirt. Now, is that your show?
No, that's not my show. Grown Up Italian is a podcast that I got invited to do, and they're huge. They have 2.3 million followers.
They're really
and
big.
They're really, really big, and I do their show. I do the Grown Up Italian. I was supposed to do Christmas Day, but I was very sick, so I couldn't do it.
But you've been on it before.
Yes.
How often are you on this show?
I've been on it maybe 8 times, and I'm scheduled to do another episode real soon.
And once again, your podcast is called The Mario Bosco Show?
Yeah, the
And it's
Mario
named
Bosco.
after you, Mario Bosco.
Exactly.
And what do you do? You talk about all things Mario Bosco?
No, I have a crew. We have a guest. We've had Lisa Ann. We've had Charles Oakley. We have had so many people on.
I did see the Charles Oakley episode. Mario, just a little hint here. When you bring on a guest like Charles Oakley, kind of good idea to kind of like know who he is and what his stats are and what position he played.
I knew he was in. I knew his number was 34. I knew who he was. I knew he played for the Knicks. I knew everything. I knew he played for Chicago. He had a problem with. I knew Charles Barkley. I knew the whole stats with him.
Yeah, but you had Charles Oakley on.
Oakley, yeah. But he and Charles Barkley never got along, and he didn't get along with Ewan, and he fought with a lot of people.
Yeah. So, Mary, how's before we let you go? How is I wrote down here that you are one of the hardest working comics that I know. How's stand up going for you?
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. What?
Yeah. No, Sean was just telling me how much he's enjoying this episode, and he was very excited to have you on. That's the reason why I was so trying to get you, because he had never met you before, and
and I've seen you work at Catch a Rising Star in Princeton a lot, and I keep seeing your name popping up. So the next time,
Yeah.
Are you still here, Mario? I was going to give you a gig. I was going to offer you a gig, but if you're not paying attention.
I'm sorry. I'm telling somebody to wait 1 second. That's why, 'cause I'm about to get off.
Me and Jeff usually work Catch a Rising Star together, and I'm due back there in like June or July. Jeff's out. You're in.
So I'm in?
You're in.
Oh, thank you so much.
Way to step on my carcass, Mario. Mario, I know. Listen, tell us where we can find you. How people can follow Mario Bosco.
Mario Bosco Comedy, Instagram, TikTok, and all social media followers.
You're a good man, Mario Bosco.
Is going to be one heck of a year.
I love you guys.
Mario, take care. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch with you. Okay.
I love you. Bye, Sean. Bye, Jeff.
Mario Bosco. Follow Mario Bosco. Sean, I think this was our last episode.
Oh, there's no question. This is our last episode.
I mean, how do we follow that?
We can't. This is what you call the proverbial mic drop. Like, how do you go out? Like, do you ride off like Thelma and Louise and drive off the cliff? Do you drive down the road like Jax Teller did in Sons of Anarchy with the police shooting him at the back of the head, Jeff? Huh? Does the door just open and the bell rings when Meadow Soprano walks in the door and you see the shady guy walk by and Tony looks up and the music just stops?
It should have ended with a bullet in the eye, just like in Godfather. Listen, if there is another episode, okay, please follow Sean and I. on our social media, and
This
please
is actually
subscribe.
my favorite episode we've ever done.
Oh my God. We do come back. This is why we come back, because we have the best producer in the game, Adam Hulse.
Listen, on that note, too, I do want to thank our producer, Adam. Adam was the producer of my first special, which came out. And I will gladly say I debuted at number 9 on the iTunes charts. And I went rapidly down the list. But I did debut at number 9 for the album version. And the video version is doing well. We're getting a lot of great response from it, too. And thank you both for your part in it. I greatly appreciate it. And
Listen,
now we're
Sean,
on to the next.
it looks great, folks. It really,
I was
if
happy.
you want to see how a video should look, forget about the content.
Yeah, content's horrible. Yeah, put it on mute.
Listen, we get it. You put on weight, you lost weight, you have a mother. We understand that. But if you want to see how a video should be shot, okay, and you want to see listen to a really great crowd, this is the video you should watch. Forget about who's on stage. Just watch the way it's shot. It's a very, very good video, folks. It really is.
I agree.
Okay. So
well,
with that, hopefully we'll catch you next time. Adam,
no guarantees.
Happy New Year to you. Sean, what do you got coming up?
What do we got coming up? Let's see. So let's talk about February. Me and you are working together February 1st in New Egypt, New Jersey. Then I guess February 8th, I'm in Toms River, New Jersey. And then Valentine's Day, I am headlining a show in Nyack, New York. And then there's a bunch of other stuff coming up. And I think we're going to be getting a date lined up at the Laughing Stock Comedy Club coming soon, I think.
We're going to have some stuff going on. We have a lot of satellite stuff going on.
I know. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. As for me, I'm going to be at the Bluebell Country Club. I don't know where that is. You know what? By the time this thing comes out, hopefully Adam will have this out in time. But February 7th and 8th, I am in Massillon, Ohio. I'll be headlining Crackpots.
Very nice.
There's a place that does use me. But if you just go to like my socials, I'm posting all the time. I have shows pretty much almost every day, every weekend, and you can find me wherever I'm going to be. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Mario Bosco just texted me, and he wrote, "Hey, thank you guys so much. Please give Sean my number." All right, Mario. Sean, you got yourself a fan.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
All right, guys. Like I said, keep watching, keep subscribing. We appreciate everything. For the next time, take care, everybody.